Hi everybody, I just wanted to go over the test, okay? And I thought that making a video would be the best because then you can go back and check the video and check your answers, okay? The very first thing I want to talk about is section 5, obviously. You all did great on the first 5, 6, 7, and then everybody kind of bombed 8, 9, 10, and 11. As I told you, you would. Pay close attention to where you are in the test. Number 8 and number 9, you can probably get, and then number 10 and number 11 are going to get trickier and trickier and trickier. So 10 and 11 are the ones that you can afford to let go because you guys had some trouble in this section, which means there are too many questions for the amount of time given. So don't rush, skip a few. You can do it because there are some that are just hard and some that you can find a real good reason to answer. So number 8 is where we're going to start. The problem with number 8 is this approving, number 1, because I've told you before, ing endings on words are often the problem of the sentence. The other problem here is that time and place, those are two things, and our verb is for one thing. The time for such a large event is subject. The place for such a large event is subject, but the time and the place for such a large event are subject. Now let's look at all of the answer choices. A is wrong because I can find two problems. B has the verb are. C has the verb are. D has the verb are. E has the verb are, which tells us that, okay, one of those 4 is correct, but now we need to figure out which. So we move on to the ing problem. B says approving. It can't be right. That's a problem. So A and B are out. I look at C next. The time and the place for such a large event are subject to the approval of the mayor's office. Bingo. That's my answer. Things are subject to approval, not subject to approving, not subject to be approved. Why would I need to add the B in there? I've told you before, if you see B, that's not right. The word be is never, ever, 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 ever going to be right. Believe that. B is always going to, the word be is always going to be wrong. So here we've got the fact that approving is the problem. So I've got approving in A, approving in B, and then approval is really the word that I wanted, and C works. No need to even look on further. Number 9, we have a beautiful spit of land. Singular thing. Borders an undersea canyon. Good. Singular subject, singular verb. An undersea canyon, that is home. Singular verb again, to a canyon. They match. Notice how it's a very short area of the sentence that's underlined. That means you're looking for something really little. And if you can't find it, it's not there. End of story. So A is the correct answer for 9. Number 10 and 11 are just hard. The answer for number 10 is E, like. Like some other great works, the enduring horror tale Frankenstein was first published anonymously. If we read all the others, they're just too wordy, and as doesn't make sense. As some other great works, it can go nowhere. There's nowhere for that sentence to go. It's a dead end. Like what happened with some other works, and like the case with other works, well, they all have the word like, so pick the short one. Number 11, we have a parallelism problem. The book is useful because it offers not just philosophy and theory, but also tells you what and how to live every day. Okay? The problem here is that the word tells is a verb. It tells you what? Well, it says it offers not just philosophy and theory, but also something. Philosophy, theory, and another thing. So it says here, and when somebody tells you what and how to do something, that's called advice. So the answer C works really well, but we can look at it anyway. Notice how we have in choice A, tells, B, gives, D, gives, E, tells. All of those are wrong because they're verbs. C is the right answer because advice is a noun. It's as simple as that. Okay, now let's get into this part. Okay, everybody did fine on 12. Most of you got 13. Okay, remember with 13, it's very important to bear in mind the subject-verb agreement. Okay, not always a problem though. Sometimes the sentence has correct subject-verb agreement. For example here, Iris contains. That's perfect. Notice how the part in the commas you have to kind of ignore. It's just modifying the iris. So the iris contains delicate patterns that are unique. Well, patterns are unique. Not iris are unique, but patterns are unique. Nothing wrong with that sentence. I'll read number 14, and right away you're going to go, oh, of course, how could anybody get that wrong? The newly elected prime minister, to the dismay of opponents from other parties, have argued. Again, this bit in the commas, take it out of there and read the sentence. The newly elected prime minister have argued. Well, a prime minister is one thing. So, prime minister has argued. C is the answer. Number 15, we have studies have suggested. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that part. So A is fine. Studies show that blah, blah, blah might help to lower blood cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. Not reducing. Again, ing, sometimes a problem. Okay, pay attention to ing words because they are often a problem. Might help, might reduce. That's what it has to be, parallel. Number 16, there's nothing wrong with this sentence, even though A feels a little bit weird. There's nothing that I could point to. Subject verb is fine. Subject pronoun is fine. Adverbs, there's nothing wrong there. There's no problem with the tenses. There's really nothing even wrong with diction. A feels like a little weird. It feels like maybe there should be a comma in the sentence, but I can't worry about all those things. All I can do are worry about the few things that I know to be problems. There's no problem with 16. And in 17, it's a parallelism problem. Number 17 says the garden was untended, the windows had no shutters, and the lawn, missing something. The lawn was overrun by weeds. Okay, overrun could be an adjective. And here we've got untended, had no shutters, lawn was overrun. I need a verb. Was overrun should be in there. So C is the answer. Okay, here's where it gets horrible, guys. Everybody struggled with 20 through 25 and then 26 through 29. So let's go over them just quickly. Number 8, and what I want you to think about are which ones could you skip because you just don't see it right away. Some of them you can find a problem right away. And remember that it can only be one of a handful of problems. Number 18, until recently, right away, tells us that our tense is going to come into play. Because until recently tells us we're talking about the past. Until recently, most people entering politics felt that loss of privacy was a fair price to pay. If you're not sure that that's the right answer, look at this. Was is in the past tense and it's not underlined, which means it's correct. So feel cannot be correct. Number 19, only by tapping their last reserves of energy were the team members able to salvage what was beginning to look like a lost cause. That's perfect. Okay, team members goes with were, even though it's organized differently than normal. They were able to salvage something, and that something, what was beginning to look like a lost cause. It may feel a little weird, but I guarantee that none of you could say, oh, that's definitely subject, verb, subject, pronoun, parallelism, tense, comparisons. None of you could figure out a good answer to that question of what exactly is the problem. And if you can't figure out exactly what's the problem, don't put that answer. It's either you don't know it or it's no error. Number 20, the problem here is that we have a pronoun it and then herself. Those don't match, do they? Well, herself is not underlined, which means it's correct. Now, what pronoun would go with herself? She. She instantly established herself. A is the correct answer here. Number 21, this is one that you can pick out, but it's starting to get more difficult, which is why, again, I say 12 through 20 are so important, because 21 through 29 are really hard. Not many authors have described the effects of environmental pollution as effectively as Rachel Carson. We're not comparing the effects of environmental pollution to Rachel Carson. We're not comparing their effectiveness. That's what that sentence is saying. We're saying that no one has described it as effectively as Rachel Carson. Number 22, there's no way that you all knew this one. I think everyone got it wrong, actually. Yeah, everyone busted on this one. Okay, the problem here is B. You don't succeed with something. You succeed in something. You succeed by something. You succeed in something. Did I already say that? Okay, you don't succeed with adapting. You don't succeed with playing baseball. You succeed in playing baseball, maybe. But it's just that phrase is badly worded because of that preposition right in the beginning. Number 23, the survey indicated that workers in the United States hope that his or her wages, there's your problem. His or her is singular, but it refers to workers, which is plural. So workers, their wages. Number 24, so that one you can find because his or her is telling you singular. So you look back and you go, is that singular? No. Then there you go. There's your answer. Excuse me. Number 24, the problem is clever. A clever designed reservoir. Well, can a reservoir be clever? No. That makes it wrong right off the bat. You don't even need to look at anything else. A cleverly designed reservoir. So number 21 and 24, they're both adverb problems. Number 25, this one, I can't believe any of you could get this wrong because we talked about this. Mary invited Sandhya and me to her house to meet them. You don't invite I, you invite me. C is the answer. Okay, number 26, ongoing research by several scientists suggest. Wait, if we take this part out, because you don't need it, because by several scientists just modifies the research suggests with an S at the end. Research doesn't suggest. Research suggests. It's a singular thing with a plural verb. Scientists is plural, but we're not saying that scientists suggest. We're saying research suggests. So B. I'm trying to see if any of you put D for that one. What number was that? 26? That answer's all over the place. But anyway, B is the correct answer. 27, excuse me. Number 27, because the American Indian Rodeo includes games and exhibitions developed as early as the 17th century, they predate. What are we talking about with they? We are not talking about the exhibitions and games. We are talking about the rodeo, which is singular. So we've got subject, verb, and it doesn't work. It should be it and also pronoun. It predates the form of rodeo. Notice how here we've got rodeo, singular, rodeo, singular. The games and exhibitions developed, they're just part of what the rodeo includes. They're not the sentence that you need to find the verb. You need to find the verb for rodeo. You've got it twice here. Number 28, 5 years in the writing. Her new book is both a response to her critics' mistrust with her earlier findings. Right there. There is no such thing as mistrust with something. There's mistrust of something. That is not one that I expect you guys to know off your head. Don't worry about it. The only possible answer you could come up with is C. But none of the other answers are things that you could put your finger on as things that we talked about. So don't go there. Okay, number 29. Despite its cultural importance, the Daily Gazette lost 70% of its subscribers since 1920, and by 1955 was losing as much as $200,000 a year. Well, since 1920. We say that it lost 70% of its subscribers since 1920. It was losing as much as $200,000 a year by 1955. Notice how it says was losing? This needs to be changed to had lost or something like that. Despite its cultural importance, the Daily Gazette had lost 70% of its subscribers since 1920, and by 1955 was losing as much as $200,000 a year. So try to pay attention to the fact that you've got tenses that are not always the same in the underlined parts. But again, that's not one that I expect you guys to get. But nobody got it right. None of you. So 28 and 29, don't expect that you're going to get that right. In fact, don't expect that you should spend any time on it. Because if you lose a half point here and you spend a little bit of time, it's really lost. All right, I'm running out of time here. So for number 30, you guys actually did okay on this. Okay, you got like a couple wrong or 3 wrong. That's not that bad. Okay, so number 30, the answer is B. Number 31, the answer is E. Number 32, the answer is D. Number 33, the answer is A. Number 34, the answer is C. And number 35, the answer is E. Okay, so go through that on your own time and check out the next video where I talk about section 6. It'll obviously be a lot less wordy because I'll have a lot less stuff to do. But I hope this helped. Bye-bye.